Lakers lost by 30. What did the Cavs expose tonight?
Well, what we've been saying all year long. Look, the Lakers are always going to win regular season games. They're good. They're that good offensively. But when they play against great elite teams with athleticism, they get exposed defensively.
LeBron James' homecoming turned into a full-scale blowout, and not the sentimental kind. The Cavaliers didn't just beat the Lakers, they stomped them out. A 129-99 beating in LeBron's return game in front of his hometown crowd against the Cavaliers team that, let's be honest, hasn't exactly been world beaters this season. This is not last year's Cleveland squad that finished as the #1 seed in the Eastern Conference with just 18 losses all season. This year's version came into the night already sitting on 20 losses and looking like a team that took a step back.
25 on the night for Spida as they win it 129-99. In his return, LeBron 11 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists.
So let me ask you this. Was this really a touching homecoming moment? Or was it the first clear sign that LeBron James's era as a dominant force in the NBA is officially over? Drop your answer in the comments, because this performance tells a much bigger story than the tribute video ever could.
Every moment here, Luka launches a 3. Now, the court's kind of funky there in Cleveland. There's a little shelf and then a drop, and Luka rolls his left ankle over the side.
Things got shaky early for the Lakers when Luka Doncic went down with an apparent ankle injury in the first quarter, forcing him to the locker room and sidelining him for several minutes. This was supposed to be vintage LeBron, the leader, the scorer, the engine that carries a wounded team. Instead, what followed was one of the quietest, most passive performances you'll ever see from a player with his reputation. No takeover, no dominance, no answer.
Obviously, there's a different energy in this building when the James family's here. We saw how the fans reacted to Bronny, and certainly this could be potentially LeBron's last game in this building. How would you characterize his impact on this city and franchise? Well, you could say something too.
This is Donovan Mitchell City now. This is Donovan Mitchell City now. When he come back here, we're going to make sure that everybody roots for him like they did for him. So this is his stuff. This is his city.
LeBron James looked old, tentative, and frankly uninterested in doing the hard parts of basketball. He didn't attack in the half court. He didn't pressure defensively. He didn't impose himself physically. For long stretches, he looked like a guy just trying to survive the night without embarrassing himself too badly. And the most telling part is that he realistically shouldn't have even finished in double figures. The only reason he did is because he went into full stat padding mode late in the game, when the Lakers were already down by more than 20 points and the outcome was sealed.
James holds off Lonzo Ball and is fouled, and then grabs his left leg.
And karma showed up right on time. While padding his way to double digits in the fourth quarter of a blowout, LeBron tweaked his ankle. That's right. The injury didn't come from battling in a tight game or sacrificing his body on defense. It came while chasing meaningless numbers in garbage time. When the night was finally over, LeBron's stat line told the real story. 11 points, 3 made field goals on 10 attempts. 5 of those points came at the free throw line. The rest were 2 fast break dunks and a layup. That's it. No jump shooting, no half-court scoring, no signature moments.
Lakers way, James just 11 points as the Lakers lay a huge edge.
In 27 minutes of action, LeBron finished with a -23 plus-minus, tied for the worst mark in the game. Let that sink in. -23 in a game that was supposed to be about him, about his legacy, about his connection to Cleveland. This wasn't a heroic farewell tour moment. This was a reminder of exactly where he is at this stage of his career. And yet, somehow, the night still managed to get even more ironic.
Just so weird and so cool and so surreal. You know, my mom get to watch her son and her grandson play in the NBA at the same time. I actually just started to think about how insane that is. Yeah, that's awesome.
Because while LeBron was busy padding stats and limping around late, the real highlight for the James family came from garbage time. Bronny James, also making a sort of homecoming appearance, checked in when the game was already long decided. And wouldn't you know it, suddenly the energy shifted. Bronny snagged a steal, went the other way, and threw down a fast break dunk that got the crowd buzzing. In fact, Bronny had himself a nice little run. 8 points, 3 for 3 from the field, all in just 8 minutes of play.
When the Lakers get blown out on the road by the shorthanded Cavs in Cleveland, suffering their worst loss of the year. I was looking at this. With 8 minutes left in the second quarter, the Lakers were up 40-30. They had a 10-point lead. They only scored 59 points the rest of the way in that game.
Here's the part no one wants to say out loud. Bronny made as many field goals in 8 minutes of garbage time as LeBron did in 27 minutes of meaningful basketball. And just like his father, Bronny showed he understands the art of padding stats when the game doesn't matter anymore. But at least Bronny did something else that stood out. After the game, he stayed on the floor, shook hands, and congratulated players from the other team. A basic show of sportsmanship that somehow still feels noteworthy in the James household. Because LeBron? He was already halfway through the tunnel when the final buzzer sounded. No lingering, no handshakes, no acknowledgement of the team that drafted him, carried him, and built his entire brand. Just a quick exit, like a man who couldn't wait to get away from a night that didn't go according to script. And speaking of scripts, there was another one quietly being written before tip-off even happened. Reports surfaced that Cleveland would be more than happy to welcome LeBron James back this summer. A potential Year 24 reunion, back where it all started. And when you really break it down, it's the only move that makes sense. LeBron has spent 11 of his 23 seasons in Cleveland, across 2 stints. He was born and raised in Akron. The Cavs drafted him #1 overall in 2003. His legacy is forever tied to that franchise, whether people like it or not. What's even more interesting is this. Despite all the talk about loyalty and legacy, LeBron's longest uninterrupted run with any franchise has actually been with the Los Angeles Lakers. 8 straight years. Longer than his first Cleveland stint. Longer than his second. And yet, it feels like the Lakers have quietly had enough. They didn't want him back this past summer. They were reportedly disappointed when he activated his player option, forcing them to carry a $55 million anchor through another season. And let's be honest about what that $55 million is buying. A player who prioritizes offensive stats over team success. A player who conserves energy by refusing to play consistent defense. A player whose presence warps roster construction and limits flexibility, all while the team slides further into mediocrity. That has been the LeBron Lakers experience in a nutshell. One bubble championship surrounded by years of excuses, injuries, and early playoff exits. Now look at the standings. The Lakers are barely holding on. Phoenix is rising. Minnesota is coming. The play-in tournament is looming. And if the Lakers fall into that slot, which looks more likely by the day, they'll be staring down a 1 or 2 seed in the first round of the Western Conference playoffs. That's not a path to glory. That's a path to another first-round exit. Whether it's a sweep or a gentleman's sweep, the ending feels inevitable. And that's why Cleveland makes sense. The Eastern Conference is wide open compared to the West. The Cavaliers are competitive enough to sell hope. The PR machine could spin it beautifully. LeBron coming home one last time, finishing his career where it began, chasing one final finals appearance in a weaker conference. It's the cleanest narrative exit available to him, especially with the Lakers clearly ready to turn the page. But nights like this expose the truth behind the marketing. This wasn't a king returning to reclaim his throne. This was an aging superstar getting blown out by a team that shouldn't have been able to dominate him. This was a reminder that legacy can't be maintained by tribute videos and box score padding. It has to be earned on the court, in moments that actually matter. What makes this whole situation even more telling is how predictable it's become. We've seen this movie before. When the lights are brightest and the expectations are highest, the conversation always drifts back to narratives instead of performances. It's never about what happened on the court, it's about what it means. The tribute video, the emotions, the symbolism, the speculation about next season. All of it conveniently distracts from the simple truth that LeBron James no longer dictates games against competent teams, even ones having a down year. And that's the part the media still struggles to accept. Greatness has an expiration date. Every legend reaches a point where the name carries more weight than the impact. LeBron is clearly there now. He can still give you moments, still fill a stat sheet if given enough possessions and freedom, but the ability to consistently tilt games, especially against physical, disciplined teams, is gone. Nights like this don't happen by accident. They happen because the league has caught up to time. What's also glaring is how the leadership side has completely eroded. When adversity hit, there was no rallying the team, no defensive tone set, no urgency communicated through effort. That vacuum matters. Younger players notice it, coaches feel it, front offices definitely see it. When your highest paid player checks out defensively and mentally when things go sideways, the rest of the roster follows. That's not leadership, that's coexistence. Meanwhile, the Lakers are stuck in the worst possible position. They aren't bad enough to rebuild and not good enough to contend. Every move is filtered through LeBron's timeline, not the franchise's future. And as long as that's the case, the ceiling remains painfully low. This season isn't drifting toward a miracle run. It's drifting toward another awkward ending that leaves everyone pretending progress was made when it clearly wasn't.
Cleveland, on the other hand, represents comfort, familiarity, a softer landing. An organization that would happily absorb the spectacle, sell the jerseys, and embrace the nostalgia. And for LeBron, that matters more now than rings. The chase has shifted from championships to control of the narrative. Ending the career on his terms, in a place that will protect the image, might be the final goal. But if this homecoming proved anything, it's that nostalgia doesn't win games. Memories don't guard the perimeter. Tribute videos don't stop runs. The current Cavaliers didn't freeze in awe. They played basketball, and they played it better. They ran, defended, shared the ball, and exposed every weakness the Lakers tried to hide. That's the present reality, no matter how loud the applause was before tip-off. So if this truly was a glimpse into the future, then the path is clear. LeBron's days as a difference maker in the West are numbered. The Lakers' patience is wearing thin, and the league is already moving on. The only question left isn't whether the story is ending, but how quickly the final chapter gets written, and whether it ends with another excuse or with the quiet acceptance that time always wins. When you strip away the emotion and the production value, what's left is a performance that raises serious questions about direction, accountability, and honesty in today's NBA coverage. Games like this get wrapped in sentiment because sentiment is safer than truth. But basketball isn't played in flashbacks. It's played in real time, and real time exposed just how wide the gap has become between LeBron's reputation and his actual on-court influence. This isn't about hate, and it isn't about disrespect. It's about standards. Legends set them, and eventually they get measured by them. The league has moved forward with faster, younger, more relentless players, while LeBron's game has narrowed to moments and matchups that need to be carefully managed. When those conditions disappear, so does the illusion. And nights like this make it harder to pretend otherwise. So if you're tired of the spin and ready for real basketball conversations, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and most importantly, drop your thoughts in the comments. Was this just a bad night? Or was it another reminder that the LeBron era is closer to the end than people want to admit?